other minors were able to get out of there. And President Obama is conceding that Congress may not have the stomach to tackle comprehensive immigration reform this year. While the president stressed his commitment to the issue, he gave his own reality check on it when he was aboard Air Force One.
I don't want us to do something just for the sake of politics that doesn't solve the problem. I want us to get together, get the best ideas on both sides, work this through, and when it's ready to go, let's move.
Congressman Becerra, Democrat of California. He sits on the House Ways and Means Committee. Also, Congressman Bilbray, Republican of California. He chairs the Immigration Reform Caucus. It is a great pleasure to have both of you on with me today. Thank you both for making time.
Great to be here.
Absolutely. Congressman Becerra, let me start off with you getting your reaction to the president saying that it simply appears that Congress, the two of you and many others in Congress, just don't have the stomach for immigration reform this year. What do you make of that?
Well, some of us have the stomach and the will. It's just that we have to find equal partners. And at this stage, perhaps Brian can explain why we can't find a Republican in the Senate who'd be willing to help us. I know that there's some Republicans in the House who'd be willing to try to do this, but the Senate has been the roadblock for so many things: health care reform, Wall Street reform, and now maybe immigration reform. But many of us are going to keep trying because this is something the country needs to fix.
Congressman Bilbray, what's your response to that? Do you believe the Republicans, and I'll ask you, do you have the stomach to tackle immigration reform right now?
Absolutely, and we have got a great bill. It's the Schuler bill, North Carolina. His bill was co-sponsored last year. Even had the Hispanic caucus members and Black caucus members involved. What was wrong with it to some people was it didn't have amnesty, and we're being held hostage on the issue that unless we give in to rewarding the 20 million illegals in this country with legal status because they broke the law, they refuse to do the common sense things like require every employer to use E-Verify, the system the federal government, even Congress uses. Just apply that. That's a bipartisan effort that is already out there and is being held up because people are looking to hold out and extort amnesty before they allow any of these common sense enforcement strategies to move forward.
And Congressman Becerra, do you believe that there are those who are trying to, as Congressman Bilbray said, extort amnesty?
Tamron, Brian, you're a friend, but that's not true what you've just said. The way you've described it is not accurate. Folks are willing to vote for something. No one, not a single person in the Congress that I know of, is talking about amnesty where you give folks a break for having come into law without documents. Everyone's talking about making some tough choices and some tough decisions for everyone, employers, the immigrants, and we can get there, but we got to get past this constantly using these red baiting words like amnesty so we can get it done. There are people of good faith in both parties ready to do bipartisan bill. The Schuler bill has some good ideas. It's not the complete answer, though, and that's why we have to do a number of things. But Congressman Schuler's bill is certainly something that should be considered.
Well, it's something that should be passed right away. It's the common ground that we all can agree on. We can talk about the things we disagree with, and we can debate that. But the things we agree on, we ought to be moving now and not waiting and delaying.
And Congressman Bilbray, I want to talk about the fact, and you're right, we should be able to talk about it. And if you disagree, you disagree. But we've seen a lot of heated language. I want to play what Congressman Duncan Hunter said at a Tea Party rally this Saturday about children who are born in the United States of parents who may be coming to this country illegally. This is what he said.
But I support the deportation of natural-born American citizens that are the kids of illegal aliens. Yes. I would have to, yes. I think I would have to do it. And let me tell you why. You know, it's a complex issue, and it's, you know, you can look and say you're a mean guy. You know, that's a mean thing to do. That's not a humanitarian thing to do. We simply cannot afford what we're doing right now.
Congressman Bilbray, I apologize because that audio was kind of muffled, but what basically he said is he would support the deportation of natural-born American citizens, their children who are born in this country. That would be a violation of the Constitution, and it's that kind of language that people are upset about. What's your reaction to this idea of if the child is born here, that the child will be deported, even though it's a citizen? The child is a citizen.
The child stays with the parent unless there's a legal guardian. My mother was an Australian immigrant. When she went back to Australia for a few years, I went back with her as a family. We do it all the time. You got legal immigrants, when their visas expire, the children go with the parent unless you arrange for a legal guardian.
He said he would deport the children who are citizens of the United States.
He specifically said that the children should go with the parents. What he didn't clarify that that if the parents make an arrangement for a legal guardian in the United States, it happens all the time, and you don't make a different rule for those who might be here illegally from those who every day go home to their home countries when their visas are up and take their children with them, just like my mother did.
We've got a couple of seconds. Congressman Becerra, I'll let you get the last word here.
Tamron, that's what happens when we don't resolve this. Frustration, anger, fear takes over. And then you talk about kicking out, deporting affirmatively children. When children have to pay the price for what adults do or don't do by crossing the border without documents, don't do by not passing good comprehensive immigration reform, we're done.
I appreciate you both coming on. I know you have different views, but it is always great to hear both sides of any discussion, and it's a great pleasure. Thank you.